So
Absolutely.
if you don't want to do that and you want to just go buy a new car that has like pops and bangs and stuff already installed, maybe you want to go over to Hyundai, get a Hyundai Elantra N. This is not an ad, but it is a really fantastic segue into the topic I want to talk about. If you want to do that, if you're in California, be careful, because it's a really interesting story. It's been making its rounds the last couple of weeks here. A California driver in his brand new Hyundai Elantra N, and I recently saw one of these for the first time in person, heard it for the first time in person. Really nice looking cars, really nice sounding cars. If you guys have never heard one, like either to videos don't do it justice. Like, you got to hear it in person. I know it's not that crazy of a car. We just talked about these really, really cool cars, and we talk about some like a few episodes back, like fastest cars and new supercars and all that. This is sort of a more basic, higher end model of a more basic car, but they're actually really fantastic cars from what I've read and seen and heard.
I've heard good
so
things
far.
about them.
So and Hyundai's doing some really cool stuff. Have you guys seen a couple of our past episodes with EV type of stuff, hybrid type of stuff? Really cool design. I don't know who they stole from, what car manufacturer. Some new person just came out there and killed the game, but they're making some really cool looking cars, even their SUVs now too. And the Hyundai Elantra N comes with like a lot of modern sports cars, comes with a sport mode, comes with different modes. These are some of the few cars that still come in a manual transmission. And the Elantra N is one that also comes with a pops and bangs type of tune. I know it was kind of like a silly thing maybe more back in the day, and it's becoming a little bit more regular. I personally have it. It's awesome. I love it. Not the Elantra, but the pops and bangs. And so this guy is like, awesome, I'm super happy. I got this Elantra. He's just driving it like regular. And if you're like most of us who have different tuning modes and stuff, you probably drive in sport mode a lot, like I do. And he gets pulled over and gets a huge ticket for having a modified car, driving specifically a modified exhaust with track mode. And he's like, what? I can just imagine. You guys, if you can look up the video and watch the whole traffic stop. I know for whatever reason, those always get suggested to me. Maybe it's just because it's like car guy stuff. I always see them. I like going through them. Sometimes they're kind of funny. But he's just like so confused. He's like, and he what he said, which you probably shouldn't have. The guy was like, were you in track mode? And it's like, these don't really have track mode. There's a sport mode, which makes the suspension a little bit stiffer, I'd imagine. Gives the pops and bangs, maybe gives it a little more aggressive of a tune. And he just says, yeah, I was in track mode. And the guy's like, can't do that on the streets. You got to go get that removed. So he gets a ticket to get track mode and these track modifications removed from his car. And then in California, and I imagine it's the same in other states, like your registration is, I don't know if it's expired. They basically remove the registration. So it's illegal to drive this car on the street now. So he goes to Hyundai, takes his car in, and is like, hey guys, I got this fix-it ticket. Like, you gotta remove the track mode. And they just look at him like, no track mode. Like, this car's stock from the factory. Like, we didn't you didn't even option it, bro. Like, the's nothing done to this. So
that has to be the first time those words were ever said in a Hyundai dealer.
Like, okay, I know that. Yeah, right. I gotta have the track modes removed. Yeah, the Hyundai guys are just like, yes, mission accomplished. We're cool. So he gets his write up from the Hyundai dealership and goes to the California Inspection Agency, I believe it's called. I'm sorry, to check out the dealership. Yeah, California Inspection Station. So where they inspect the cars and then issue registration. So he took it there to re-register it, and they said, well, this it doesn't show that they fixed anything. So we can't re-register your car until it's fixed per the ticket requirements. Like, items had to be changed. And he's like, but there's nothing to be changed. Like, this is a stock car. Like, you're asking me to modify my car, which you guys don't like. You know, like, you want me to modify my exhaust? I will happily modify my exhaust.
Weird.
But so he's in this, and to my understanding, this is currently ongoing. Like, he's currently not able to drive his car. And I believe I saw and now this is like hearsay, probably a lot of ways, but I believe the California inspection station basically said, well, you probably got to sue Hyundai then to get this taken care of, because you're not allowed to drive that. on our streets.
What?
And the difference in sound and everything is so minuscule to my thought. So, and it's mostly because he's backfiring. Now, maybe he was doing it a lot. Like, I try to keep my car out of that mode if I'm driving like in residential areas or like in my neighborhood specifically. I don't want my neighbors all mad at me. Come on, I'm trying to be nice on the podcast. But most of the time, I'll try to keep it quiet if I feel like it needs to be quiet. So the California requirements are that a car's exhaust stays below 95 decibels, which is pretty loud, granted. But the Elantra N averages 98 in the sport mode and hits a peak at 102 due to the pops and bangs from the exhaust.
Wow.
So, which it makes sense. I mean, that loud, like pop, pop, pop,
Good
like
job,
it can be
Hyundai.
pretty aggressive. Even, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sorry for you, whoever owns this car, but Hyundai, good work. You made a great car from the factory. So yeah. Anyways, he's in this loop now of like going back to the dealership with another thing from California inspection. Like, you need to remove this option from the car, and then them writing up a fix it thing like, hey, there's no way for us to modify this out. It comes with the car. I'd imagine, I mean, big picture, obviously it's possible to go into the computer and like remove that mode, but like they're not going to do that because then this guy isn't going to want this car.
That's
you know
crazy.
What I mean? Like they're not going to.
Yeah, like they're
like,
going to have
the
to
state of California
retune or
basically has to
reprogram the
confront
car.
Hyundai
That's nuts.
and tell them. Yeah, so state of California would have to go up against Hyundai basically and say, you guys can't sell these cars here, is realistically what has to happen.
Right, that's where it would have to go.
You can't screw the customer over with like, you're allowed to sell these cars here and people are allowed to buy them here, but if they drive them in the right or wrong, I guess, state trooper sees them or hears them, then we're going to write them a irrefutable ticket that they'll never be able to fix. So they're going to have an undrivable car, you know?
Yeah, I just thought of something though. This I feel like this doesn't make sense. How is it that in California, where like a lot of like celebrities and rappers and people live, who afford like Lamborghinis and Ferraris and basically any car that will like blow your eardrums stock, how do all of those guys drive on the road without getting this like warning?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that I've always thought about that too, because you think about like the Hoonigan guys. I remember we talked about that a while ago. Like they're based out of California, and they were doing like the burn yard stuff, like literally having people over in their crazy modified cars doing donuts. And I remember watching their videos, you know, ways back. They're always getting cops called on them and stuff because of the noise. So yeah, I don't know.
It comes
I don't
down
know.
to money and
it
lawyers.
seems like a lot of probably
Maybe,
realistically,
yeah.
It's got a lot to do with a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. So, good luck to this guy. If anybody knows him, I don't know if there's anything we can do to help.
Also,
if
anybody can
updates.
tag him, if anybody knows who it is, like it'd be great if we could hop in a conversation with him and talk to him about his whole deal. That would be interesting because it feels like this is not like a super
the process.
Yeah, and it's not like a totally isolated event because this is not. I mean, I'm shocked that it wasn't like a Dodge Red Key car that had this happen for the first time, and that it was a Hyundai. You know,
right.
There's a lot of other cars that have
you mentioned that
crazy
too, Jake,
tunes
that
and crazy
people
stuff
stop
in there.
With the Dodges.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was this story. I didn't watch all of it. I just saw it was a snippet of an interaction, and it was like essentially they were telling the guy that it was illegal to drive with the red key, but he could drive with the black key, kind of a thing. But like that's definitely not written anywhere. Yeah. But he was saying, well, that's a track only key, so you can't use that on the road because it enables blah blah blah, like whatever it was. But I don't remember all the specifics, but it was like that was the thing, was he was saying, no, you can't use that key on the road. That's a track only key, but that's not really what the key is. The key is just a marketing strategy for them. But like it was just weird that like all these weird lines are now being drawn. It's like car companies understand exactly what people wanted out of cars in the first place, and so they're tuning and building cars for car people. But then the law is like, wait, no, we said you can't do that. And then the factory's like, well, that's cool. Like, no, it's fine. We put the cool exhaust on it from the factory and we have this mode or whatever. They're like, no, but
Yeah.
hold on, fix it ticket. And then the guy's like, what do you want me to do? It came from the factory that way. And they're like, do it anyway. Like it's very weird. We're going to start having reverse modification
Right.
companies that like build parts that detune cars to go back to like an early 2000s stock car because manufacturers are
So
building too
sad.
cool of cars now.